What is up guys, this is Vishu from SavageCamp, and in this video we are going to look at the enumerate function that is present in Python. So if you remember, in the basics video we created one program where we generated random names and random date of birth. For the date of birth we used random.randint. For the names, we installed a package called names, which will get the full name and show it to us. In this video, we are going to go over what enumerate keyword does, and for that we will generate some random names. What we are planning to do is, for random number of times, we will generate names, but we will also use the enumerate keyword to show how it is useful. So let's start with import names, and from random import randint. This number is going to be randint between, we will generate between 20 to 40 names. And here let's do with classes. So class name generator and no brackets, define, I can show you how we should use it properly. So self dot num is equal to randint of 20 to 40, and here I will do define return name, and this is going to return names dot get full name. We are not going to pass any gender, so it is always going to be random names. And we will do define main, and this main is going to use a for loop. So in this case, for counter comma I in enumerate, which you can see over here is built in, enumerate of range of self dot number. So we will generate a random integer between 20 to 40 that would be stored in self dot num. This self dot num will have a random number, and we will go over that number and create random names that many times. So here when I do self dot number, that number is being generated when I generate the class. So I have put it inside the init function. So for counter I in enumerate of range self dot num, print counter, let's do it a little bit better. So counter number 1, so this would be number, counter name is, we should put name over here, which should be a variable, and we need to define what name is. So name is going to return. So if I want to call return name, this return name is part of this class, which main is also part of. So to call this function, I'm going to say self, which is this class, dot return name. So you can see I can call init, I can also call main. So I will call return name. This is going to call this function. This function will generate a random name and return this, which will be stored in name, and it will be used over here. So every time it is generating a random name. And naming convention, I will just do underscore name and put it over here. So this is the point of enumerate keyword. For I in range self dot num is how we usually write for loops. But when we are using enumerate, we are also putting a counter over here. This counter is going to increment every time we use this. And that is how we are going to keep track of how many names have been printed. Now to call this, I'm going to say object is equal to name generator, and remember, when we call the function, we need to put parenthesis. When I do this, it is generating the self.number over here. Now we have the self.number. Let's call the main function. So if I do this right now and try to run this, let's see if it runs properly. I think it is over here. Oh, so it actually ran, and we have what? 25 random names, and you can see number, which is like this, number counter, which is our counter. Now remember, we did not use counter is equal to 0 or counter is equal to counter plus 1. We are not keeping a track of the counter. We are using the enumerate keyword, which is actually doing this for us. So we don't have to do this. So you're seeing number 0, name is Mary Riggs. So I will remove name and run this again. And you will see 24, 28, 22. Let's change this to 25 and 32 names. So all of these are being generated on the go. The main point I wanted to show you is the enumerate keyword, which acts like a counter. So when you're using enumerate, you have to pass in a counter variable that is going to increment every time the loop is running. So every time the loop runs, it is adding +1 to the counter, and that is how it is going to keep a track of how many times you are running this loop. And that is what the enumerate keyword does. It might seem useless right now, because why do we need a counter? But if we go into details in the future programs, we will be using this keyword a lot. So I would say pay attention to this video. Pretty easy and helpful guide. And that is it. That's it for this video, guys. And I will see you guys in the next one.